Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm back with a new video on a double layout for a Soul Scrapper challenge. And I had to use this sketch for this challenge, and it actually worked out nicely with the photos I've selected. Once again, a double, unusual for me, and you can see that I have actually spread it across with this beautiful collection from Scrapbook Fantasies. And it is an amazing set of papers that I've got to work with for this layout. As I said, I've chosen from Scrapbook Fantasies, and they actually sent me this gift when I purchased my last one, which I'm going to use for the first time and I see others use. These are my photos. They were taken from Fort Scratchley in Newcastle on a visit last spring. This is from the Scrapbook Fantasies Nautical Dreams, and I absolutely love anything wood grain, as you know, and it's a shame that I need the cutouts on the other side. This paper is just divine, and this one here is from the Tropicana range, and of course in wood grain. What else can I say? I really love working with this paper. It's such good quality and the elements are amazing. So I'm starting off by fussy cutting out these waves, like the incoming tide flashing onto the beach, the perpetual motion, so to build that feel from my photos looking through out to the sea. I'm just going to trim off the extra bits here so that I waste not, want not. And as you can see, I'm going to utilise that blue wood panelling because I love anything in wood. And that sort of reflects a deck, perhaps, of where you're standing. I have taken those parts to build my double page, and I'm also going to utilise some of the elements of these sheets in the back, the fussy cut part. And I'm fussy cutting part the window out because it like the opening of the doors, and it reflects the portholes from Fort Scratchley where I took the photos through. I realise when I'm doing this that I'm actually going to need more of that blue water wash that I need, and I'm umming and ahhing what I'm going to include on this page. But on this Nautical Dreams, they have these wood pylons like the tiling up of the dock, so I'm tying it all together with the rope knot that I've also fussy cut out from the back of those element pages, and I'm using those as a border. I first thought I'd use this yellow netting to add some detail, but then I changed my mind and I went with some cheesecloth, and I'll show you how I use that in a moment, just to build some texture onto the page and to add a different feel and build that nautical feel. So I'm just opening up this cheesecloth. I have a wad of it that I've just cut out a strip from. So I'm going to remove everything to the side and pull it apart. Now, this is done, this layout, so that you can see how I actually change my mind quite a lot. And you'll see that I make lots of mistakes in this one, but that's just, I've left them in because I want you to see that it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake. You just lift it and you move it around and you adjust it accordingly. So I'm laying out how I want it, and you can originally see that I'm going to go with the wood panelling to the side and then the wave wash, but I actually totally changed that further on into the layout. First of all, I have to trim off this advertising strip at the bottom, and that's so that I can fit my full page. And this is a different layout for me. I haven't actually put a cardstock trim to it. And as you can see, I'm just layering this up now, and when I actually lay it down, I mismeasured because I went from the middle, not from the edge, and I realised as I'm laying down this wave that I've missed a bit, so I have to go and cut another piece. So I make mistakes. I'm not a professional. I could have edited that out and you wouldn't have known, but I just thought I just want to show that, you know, mistakes happen and that's okay. It's not wrong, it's just different. There are no right and wrongs in scrapbooking, I don't think. I think it's just how you as the creator want it to look. So you can see I've laid down all the wood panelling, and I'm adding in the blue wash, which looks like the ocean underneath the dock and the wave part. But then when I go put it together, it looks really good like that. But as I'm putting the photos on and I put this wood trim in, I realise I'm losing all that beautiful wave wash, and that's what ties the two pages together. So I put in this wood paneling, which I put down and measured out with my photos to make sure that I've got the right amount. And I just love the detail of that paper. Scrapbook Fantasies makes some amazing, amazing papers. And I realised that wave wash is being wasted underneath. So what I do here is I actually lift it and change the whole layout of that second that page. And I eliminate a whole lot out of my layout videos because when I actually record them, they can take up to an hour and a half, 2 hours to record, and you don't want to be watching all the dead space. So I speed them up, I relay them, but I wanted to put that part in to show you that I relifted it all and I've relayed it. And now you can see that I've put it together and the wave part is on both sides drawing it together. And when I go to lay these photos down, I think I've lifted the wave again because I want it to overlap the photo. So I mapped this one out, this page on this side, and you see me procrastinate a lot. I often procrastinate through the layout, thinking about what's next. And I've placed that down, and it's now that I've put the window in there, I'm happy with it. I just think, I don't want it to be over the top because I sort of want it to reflect that I'm looking through, and this is a perfect part. Sorry about the truck going by outside, a bit noisy today. And I put this photo down first, and then I put down the next photo, and I look at it and I realise that the main photo, is a bit flat. I'm going to make sure that sits down, especially when I pull the two, and I will actually then realise, no, I want my main photo, the big photo, to be mounted to give it a bit more of a outline, and that ties the grey of the wood frame of the fussy cut image behind. So I'm making the ties plus the grey in the wood. So people often ask me how I choose my papers, I use colour a lot. So using my glue and my awl now, I'm pushing this cheesecloth in under the photos to add that little frill that's at the top of the sketch and adding the detail. Pardon me. I'm using tacky glue here so that I'm able to put down the rope to tie in underneath and put that nautical feel. I have gone back to that paper and I've fussy cut out the flowers because I need the red to just lift it a little bit because it's very flat in colour, but it's giving it the nautical theme. I've put in the posts to build up the continuity across the page so that it filters across, and you can see I fuss where the clusters go and build them appropriately and accordingly. I'm putting in this extra pylon to tie in the fact that it's across the page, it's not just tied to one page. And I slip that beautiful poppy in underneath, and I'm going to pop this one down the bottom here to give it some dimension and lift it off. Now I've gone ahead and I've journaled on a bit of the wood, and this was a day that my friend and I, my very, very good friend that I scrap with, she took me out to have a look at the sculptures by the sea at Fort Scratchley, and now I've been going to Newcastle visiting her for over 20 years, and I had never been to Fort Scratchley, so we had a great morning up there, and even though it was windy, it was great, and as we were walking out through the portholes, the view was magnificent, so I couldn't help taking these photos. And once again, I'm using this as a layout for my album of scenery. It's just for me, for pure pleasure, because I like to take photos of landscapes and scenery. And then, not really having done much with them in the past, I've decided, with the help of my son, that I'm making this album for myself, and that's where they will go. Now, I'm going to use this from Scrapbook Fantasies, which was gifted to me, and I've seen other people use it, and I've heard, and because normally I just eyeball my title, I thought, I'll give it a go and see if I can't use this tool. And I actually like it. And even though I'm not perfectly straight, it does help me somewhat straighten it up and get it in a straight line across my page. And I have cut these out on my dies, and I've got the title Weekend Views there because that's where it was. I'm going back around the journaling just to lift it off with my fine line black marker and doodling across it. So it's got a messy line that gives it a bit of the rustic feel, pops it off the page a little bit more. And then with my ruler, I'm going to draw in a frame, which is just going to be a messy scribbled line, which isn't really scribbled. I've used the ruler, but it's not. It doesn't matter if it hasn't come through totally fully defined. As you can see, my desk, I've got die cuts everywhere, and they just filter across my page every now and then. Yep, a terrible habit of mine. I just leave things to the side, and then when I get to the point that I can't work anymore, I'll clean it up. This is my double page. I'm very happy with how it came together and how quickly, well, it's not really quickly in reality, but in this video it looks like it's come together quickly. So I'm now using a pen that's like a Wink Stella that I got from Uniquely Creative, and it's got like a gold sparkle in it, and you just put it over and it adds a little bit of sparkle to the page without adding the depth of stickles. I'm adding in some red glimmers here, so that's going to be the continuation of the sparkle, but it's with the red because I'm continuing the red as my highlight in this. I'm using my Pearl Nouveaus here just to tie in the 3 elements across the top and the bottom so that my page is balanced and the eye roams. So I'm really sorry that I can't actually show you the 2 side-by-side flat here, but I do take a photo and add it to it. My workspace is very limited just because that's where I work. One day I'll get a bigger space, but at the moment I work in this comfort space for myself. I'm adding in, of course, my date stamp, which, you know, lets everybody know when this great event happened. And there's my layout, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. It's using that sketch. Looking at here, I've got my Nouveau drops in. You can see those photos. You can see where I've got the cheesecloth and the clusters and the fussy cutting all coming together. And that wave is just beautiful. To do this sketch from Soul Scrappers Challenge, this is a double layout. It's not, you know, a regular for me, but it is a landscape double layout, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram where all my layouts can be found. And I really am pleased that you stopped by. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Your time is very, very much appreciated.